Looking for inspiring destinations, incredible places to stay, and the most exciting bucket list experiences to travel to next? Welcome to Destination Everywhere with hospitality and travel entrepreneurs Todd Bludworth and Andy McNeill. Having traveled to over 100 countries, Todd and Andy bring you unique perspectives with celebrities in the know, hospitality experts, and native connoisseurs to discover must-dos and inspirational destinations to plan your next trip for business or pleasure. So pack your bags and get ready as we bring you Destination Everywhere with Todd and Andy.
With views of Italy in the horizon, on the coast of the Adriatic Sea, with thousands of miles of beaches and countless islands, sits Croatia. Venetian Renaissance style with walled cities made this area a major backdrop for the popular Game of Thrones series. Old world beauty and modern luxury make Croatia one of our top travel picks. Today we are joined with Michelin Star chef Rudolf Stefan, who tells us about his gastronomic heritage at his well-known restaurant Peligrini. Along with Chef Rudy, get ready to enjoy a 5-star seaside golf and spa resort with Kai Behrens, general manager of Kempinsky Adriatic Hotel. With 8 national parks and year-round sunshine, it's a nature lover's paradise. Or, if rich meats, cheeses, wines, and truffles sound more your style, enjoy one of many foodie tours after a day of sailing or kayaking. Welcome to this episode of Destination Everywhere, Croatia.
Welcome, everyone, to Destination Everywhere. I'm Andy McNeill, along with my partner, Todd Bludworth, and we are so excited to be joining you in Croatia today. It is going to be a fantastic show. We're going to talk about all different areas of Croatia. We have been several times and have done the entire coast and inland, and from the wines to the cheeses to the fresh seafood to the history. It is definitely a bucket list adventure. So Todd, let's talk a little bit about our last trip there, where we cruised along the coast. It was pretty incredible.
No, it absolutely was. We did that a few years ago, and Croatia was one of those places that growing up, you never heard about it as a destination, especially for people coming from the States. I think probably in Europe, it was always a lot more popular, but the itinerary came out for this trip that Andy's talking about. And I saw Croatia. I was really excited because I had heard of Dubrovnik, and I'd seen pictures of it. And then that was obviously one of the destinations. But besides Dubrovnik, it is so cool to just go up the coast and just see all of these other towns. I think we went to Dubrovnik, we went Split, Korčula was another one, which is an island. But if you look at it on a map, it's got a tremendous, huge coastline.
Thousands and thousands of miles of beach.
Right. And included in that right off there's islands. And, each island is unique also. But, it's got such a history to it. I think it was one of the scenes that got where the city was totally demolished, obviously.
One of the last ones.
Right. But the Dalmatian coast, goes, it just stretches. It's a big, vast area. And there were a lot of locations filmed for that series along the Dalmatian coast, which was really cool.
Yeah, but just an incredible country for so many reasons. We probably could do 4 or 5 shows about Croatia. And we're going to stuff as much as we can from bucket list things. We're going to talk to a Michelin star chef. We're going to talk to the general manager of one of the nicest 5-star hotels in the northern part of Croatia. So we've got a great list of activities and folks to speak to today.
Just to give our listeners some perspective of where Croatia is, it lies on the Adriatic Sea, and just north of it is Slovenia, which is another one of those untouched countries that maybe one day will open up and become a great tourist destination. And then just south of it is Montenegro and then Albania, which all of these incidentally were places that we stopped when we were going up the Adriatic coast. And it was all amazing. And as close as they are all so different in terms of the culture there, but it was gorgeous.
Yeah. And because of its location, it's actually really, really affordable to get to from anywhere in Europe. Italy's right across the Adriatic. So it's a quick flight from Rome. So there's lots of easy ways to get there. And again, one of these locations that you definitely want want to put on your bucket list. There's lots to do, from wine tastings to it's a great country to bike in because of the rural roads. There's just so much to do. So we can't wait to bring it to you.
I want to talk about some of these, like, 10% of it is made up of natural reserves. So for people who really enjoy the outdoors, there is a lot of that to enjoy in Croatia.
So let's get started, everybody. We'll be right back with Kai Behrens, the general manager for the Kempinski Adriatic in the northern part of Croatia. We're excited to have him. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Destination Everywhere, Croatia. And we are here with our next special guest with Kai Behrens. And Kai is the cluster general manager of 2 Kempinski properties, one in Slovenia, but we're actually going to focus on Croatia, and that is the Kempinski Hotel Adriatic. So Kai, thank you for joining us.
Welcome.
Thank you for having.
So Kai, you are German born. First, I want to talk about you before we get into the hotel. How did you end up in Croatia? What is your background in the hospitality and hotel business?
I always say somehow it was, you get the unexpected. And I ended up in Croatia 1.5 years ago. And it came basically overnight. I was prior to here stationed in China. And one day I got a call from my regional president asking me if I would be interested in moving back to Europe. And I said, oh, of course, sure, why not? And then he said, how about you come to Croatia? And I said, you must be kidding me. And he said, why? I said, because that was actually one of the properties I was always hoping for, because it's a stunning location, a stunning hotel, and a fantastic country to work in. And I said, of course. So it went basically within 3 weeks, the deal was done, and I had the pleasure of relocating from central China into a small town in Croatia. So I came from a like 18 million city in China to a 300 town in Croatia. So I got completely shocked in the beginning.
Yeah, but you landed in a beautiful place. I mean, if you're looking on our YouTube channel, sitting in front of a plate glass window, looking over the Adriatic, which is one of the most beautiful oceans or seas in the world. It's just stunning there. Absolutely beautiful.
Now, is your entire hotel background been with the Kempinski hotels?
No, I joined like 20 odd years the hospitality sector, and I started with at that stage, relatively small American brand called Hyatt. And I spent my first 10 years in the career with Hyatt and grew up through the ranks. And then back 12, 13 years ago, I decided it's time to change the brands. And then at that time, my GM, he took me with him to a Kempinski project to open, which unfortunately never happened. And then I basically said, no, listen, I stick to the company, and I'm a very loyal employee to my brands. I said, I don't want to jump brands all the time. So in my 20 plus years, I basically worked for 2 brands.
For people that aren't familiar with Kempinski, they may know, the name of a property, but not even know it's a Kempinski property. But, each hotel is very unique in their design.
Absolutely.
They're not a cookie cutter brand by any means. They're very boutique-y in the feel and the service. And let's talk about Croatia specifically, the Kempinski Hotel Adriatic. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's on the northest end of Croatia, correct? On a peninsula?
That's correct. It's basically one of the most unknown areas of Croatia, because if you talk Croatia on the national scale, people know Croatia, and this is mainly because of the southern part, being in Dubrovnik,
very popular,
and then traveling up north, and then potentially maybe Split. But the northern part is relatively unknown, and it's a pity, because for me, actually, the northern part is way more attractive than the southern part, because it's a complete mixture of different cultures. It all used to belong at one stage to Italy. It once belonged to Austria. So there's the people have a cultural mix of all these different nationalities.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Which makes it very interesting. And it's a blend of all all the food and all the culinary. It gets the blends from all over Europe, and that makes it really unique.
Tell us a little bit about what makes your property so special.
When we opened the hotel like 11 years ago, the Adriatic was the first true international 5-star luxury property in the northern part of Croatia. This has now, over the last few years, more and more luxury hotels are coming into that part. And so we actually invented luxury travel into Istria. And people know us over the last 10, 11 years. And if you talk, luxury destination Istria, people say, oh, that's the Kempinski, that's the only one you have. And I think whenever this entire development was established, it was a mind-blowing project, because it's not only the hotel we had, which was basically built onto the shore of a very rocky coast. And we have the hotel, which 186 rooms and suites. We have then there the leisure facilities, 2 outdoor pools, 1 indoor pool. And then on top, we have built a congress center, which is for me one of the most unique items, which is because that's where I'm standing right now, is our conference center, where you actually sit on the beach and you look onto the sea while having a conference. And
that's great.
To give our listeners a perspective, directly behind Kai right now, if you're looking at the YouTube channel, you see Slovenia, and that's just over the water. And then if you go directly across the Adriatic, you pretty much run into Venice, Italy, which is about, what, a 2.5-hour boat ride?
Depends on the boat you have, yes.
Yeah. Right.
If you normally, you can do it easily in a 2-hour boat ride, yes.
Nice.
But sorry to correct you, what you see across actually here, that's actually Italy already. Quite a lot of companies are interested of a combination of all. They want to do some outdoor activities, being it going onto the sea. The last couple of years, stand-up paddling is a favorite sport. So we organize, a group of 20, 30 people going with a paddling board 2-3 kilometers along the coastline. And then there comes a small secluded beach where we then prepare picnics or barbecues, and just to enjoy. Most of them are not going to make it back on the paddling board because they're enjoying too much the local wines, but that's something different. And then we also combine, because Istria is for me one of the most interesting culinary destinations.
Okay.
So a lot of people actually want to experience the culinary. So we have in early autumn, we sometimes arrange, we go olive picking, because all around us there are olive trees. So we go to one of the olive farms. They're going to pick the olive oil, the olives. They produce the olive oil, and then it's a nice takeaway afterwards.
What a great activity!
A personalized bottle of olive oils. Then obviously not so well known is that Istria is actually one of the biggest producers of truffles.
Okay.
So a lot of groups actually want to go on truffle hunting tours. And it's in spring, it's basically the black truffle. In summer, we go for the summer truffle. And now currently is actually the season for the white truffle. So
there's 3 seasons. There's 3 seasons.
Yes, there are minimum 3 seasons for the truffle hunting, and every single one is different. And obviously
fantastic.
Now the white truffle is just mind blowing, and it's very easy to find. So there's so much out there. So it's more or less guaranteed success.
Now, when they truffle hunt, are they using dogs or pigs? Because I heard both. I heard pigs are more effective. I don't know if that's true, but I've heard they use both.
Here they mainly use dogs.
Dogs. Got it.
But I think it's more to do because the pigs eat the truffle quicker than you can say it.
Kai, tell us a little bit about the wine scene there and what you can do around wine.
I mean, the Istria, again, very famous for wines. The southern part here, or the peninsula, the coastal side, more known for the white wines. So a typical Istrian white wine is a Malvasia. And then again, I think in 20 kilometer radius, there are around 20 to 30 wineries.
Oh wow! So you can actually take a tour from the hotel.
You can actually take a tour from the hotel. I mean, the closest winemaker next to us is 300 meters away. because a lot of these wineries are happy to also take you on doing the harvesting and show you how to harvest.
Exactly. That's a lot of fun.
Participate in that. So that's late summer. But overall, the seasonality for destination of Croatia, I always say, for groups, for events, I always say the best season to travel is either spring, so middle of April until middle of June. Weather is fantastic, very little rain, not too warm. And then again, starting in middle of September until early November.
And what's the best airport to fly into?
It depends on obviously from where you're coming. I mean, the closest airport from a distance is actually Trieste, which is around 75, 80 kilometers.
Okay.
The only issue there in high season, if you come in summer, that you actually have to travel across two borders. So there's the Italian-Slovenian border, which is not a problem at all because it's an open border. But then you need to cross Slovenia to Croatia, which is a Schengen border, and they are passport control. So there might be, or there is a delay on crossing the border. So the quickest actually in travel time is the Pula airport.
So Kai, let's talk a little bit about the dining experiences that you offer at the hotel. Tell us about the main restaurant.
The main restaurant we have is located in our hotel premises, which is called Restaurant Diana, where we see, as we are using this as our all-day dining in hotel terms, meaning breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There, it's more focused on international cuisine, plus some Istrian specialties.
So Kai, we ask each one of our guests that comes on the show to answer some questions for us, and they're questions for people like you who are world travelers who have seen things and have traveled the globe, to give our listeners some tips on what they can do and what they can see around the world. So they're called our rapid fire questions. Are you ready to answer them for us?
Sure.
Awesome. Okay. So the first one is have you ever completed anything on your personal bucket list? And if so, what was it?
I mean, I read the question. I said, Jesus Christ, am I that old already? I need a bucket list, No, but like you said, I'm a very fortunate person. I'm traveling the world. So I just counted earlier. I said, listen, I live in 11 countries for work. So I've been to the most amazing destinations, and being in these amazing destinations, I had the opportunity to visit places which other people would put on their bucket list. And for me, one of the most amazing ones was basically when I was living in Australia. In Australia, everybody talks about, Great Barrier Reef, and I said, forget that one. And for me, one of the most amazing things is the Great Ocean Road, the 12 Apostles. And I was still lucky enough to visit at least 10 of the apostles, and more of them are tumbling. But this is something unique. You walk down, and then you have like a long stretch of beach on the 12 Apostles, where you walk like for miles, and there's nobody. It's just amazing landscape, and you see these amazing towers of stone in the middle of the ocean. And then obviously in China, I've been to the Great Wall. I was very fortunate to go on one of these days when there was nobody. So, you see the pictures with millions of people, and we walked up there, and we were basically my family and I, and nobody else. So I was very lucky picking the right dates. All
right, next question. If you could live anywhere in the world for a year, where would it be?
That you haven't already, I guess.
I would say I would rent a house next to me right up on the hills, enjoying Croatian coastside, because again, here you have everything you want. You have great food, fantastic weather, and if you need to travel, you have an airport close by. So I can always say, rewinding on the eastern coast, if there's no traffic, there's no people masses.
That's great.
It's just an amazing place to be.
So is there a walkable village near the hotel?
I mean, walkable village. I mean, we have a small town here called Savudrija, and that is like altogether like 300 people living. And it's like 300 meters from the hotel. You can walk actually on the coastline. You end up on a small fishing harbor. And there the fishermen come in the morning, and you can buy the fresh fish of them. There's 3 small fishing restaurants. really down to earth, but it's just amazing.
Sounds like a really, really special place. Really does. If you could travel with someone infamous or famous, who would it be?
You know, because I am actually traveling business-wise every 2-3 years to new destinations, I don't travel privately. What I do when I go away is like I actually go home and spend time with my family.
Yeah, fair enough.
Out of the 365 days a year, I try to be at least 20 days a family man.
Yeah. All right. Next question. When you're packing for a trip, what is something you pack that might surprise our listeners?
Okay. Initially, it's going to sound very strange because what I'm going to take with me is my mobile phone. But I'm not taking a mobile phone for getting calls, but because I'm more or less addicted to Blinkist. I'm not sure if you know
Blinkist is great. Yep, I have a subscription to it.
Every free time I have there, I go on the Blinkist playlist and just listen to the books because I have no time to reading books. So I do this in 20 minutes.
Yeah, there's some great tips there, and it's almost like Cliff Notes for audiobooks. It's incredible. Yes. You get through an entire concept in 15 minutes. That's a great suggestion. So everyone remember that. And finally, what is your most memorable experience in Croatia since you've been there?
It's actually not the most memorable experience since I'm here now. I used to work in a neighboring country 8-9 years ago, and I went on a holiday to Croatia. And I went to an island called Havar, which is a very famous island in front of Split.
Okay.
And because, our hospitality industry is so stressful, so I went completely on a digital detox. And I rented an old farmer's cabin in the middle of nowhere, where we had no electricity, no running water, no internet, no nothing. And I spent there really 2 weeks without access to the outside world. And I said, this is so amazing. And that's something you can still find in Croatia. If you want it, you will have the absolute peace and calmness. And if you want, you travel 20 kilometers and then you have your entertainment, the nightlife. And so you have the best of both worlds.
That's really what's beautiful about the country. It's so different in a very small country. You can have lots of different experiences, and that in of itself, no one's ever said as a bucket list thing to do is to kind of unplug. And I think it's a great suggestion and one that all of us should take and consider, because it is a great way to kind of recalibrate and then focus on your life again. So great suggestion.
Yes. No, definitely an experience everybody needs to go through or should go through. It's the first few days are a bit tough, not having a phone in front of you, but once you get back, it's like, oh, really? Do I need that phone again?
Right. Well, and Kai, just as we're talking about bucket list, what's one thing that somebody who visits Croatia, besides your property, what's one thing that you would recommend you guys must do this?
For me, Istria is amazing for cycling.
Okay.
So you can do there like 10, 15 cycling tracks from 15 to 100 kilometers of length. And you go off, really on small roads, no big traffic. It's just amazing. You have these medieval towns, which are like 20, 30 kilometers away. And it's just a day excursion there with a bicycle. And it's just amazing.
Is it easy? Can you get access to bicycles over there pretty easily for renting?
Yeah, we at the hotel, we are renting both the normal mountain bikes as well as the e-mountain bikes. So
that's fantastic.
At the hotel. But a lot of people actually like to travel here with their own bikes.
Right.
Yeah. Great. Well, Kai, thank you for your time today. What a beautiful place. I can't wait to come. Everything you told us, from the wineries to the truffle. Now you told me that you can cycle there and it's beautiful and rural. I can't wait to come, and we really appreciate your time and telling us about your absolutely beautiful hotel.
Thank you for the opportunity, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in Croatia. I take you truffle hunting.
There you go.
Sounds good.
Don't plant the truffles ahead of time.
No, don't worry. I wouldn't be able to.
Thank you so much. Kai Behrens, everybody. We'll be right back.
you ready to book your hotel for your next company event or family adventure? Let AMI help. We have ongoing relationships with all major hotel chains and access to over 200,000 hotels. Why us? We receive special promotions before they hit the open market, meaning significant cost savings to you. Go to destination-everywhere.com and click the Source Now button and let us get to work for you.
Welcome back. We are still talking about Croatia on this episode of Destination Everywhere. And now we're going to talk about some bucket list items. And there's some really cool and unique things to do in Croatia.
Such a great place. Absolutely.
And, you heard Kai talk about just the differences in the northern and southern parts of Croatia. So, we're going to touch a little bit on each. But the first thing that, he talked about that I want to touch on again was truffle hunting, obviously, in Istria. And Istria is where his property was located, up in the peninsula in the northern part of Croatia, which is really great. But they do have actually an annual truffle festival, and then local guides will escort you through the forest in Istria. And you can actually learn how to find and how to cook truffles, which is absolutely amazing. It's something I did not know, but I learned was the different seasons for the truffles, which was really cool. But that's just a must do. We did it actually in another country one time, but I think Croatia is probably better known for it. So we'd have to definitely put that back on my bucket list.
Yeah. And so there's another great thing to do in Zagreb, which is the Museum of Illusions. And this is a great thing to have for a business meeting. You can actually rent the entire space out, or you can actually do it as an individual tourist. But there's a visual, sensory, and educational experience with 70 exhibits that teach you about vision, perception, and the human brain. And you can defy gravity in a room where the water flows uphill, or you can see your friend shrink before your eyes and get lost in a maze of mirrors. So that's
I got a couple friends I'd like to shrink.
Or you can hang from a ceiling in a rotating room. So that's called the Museum of Illusions in Zagreb, and it might be a great thing to do if you're in the city.
But no, definitely that I do love a magician.
Yeah, for sure.
But the next one I'm going to talk about, it's something that just kind of like shot all miss that I thought I knew about the wine industry. But there is actually an underwater winery in Adivo. And they have built the first underwater winery, aging wine at the bottom of the Adriatic Sea.
How cool is that?
Very cool. And you can also visit the Adivo wine bar and then kind of learn about the process and how they do it. And you can taste the wines. And then if you really have that need for, increasing that adventure level a little bit, you can actually do a scuba diving tour of the winery itself. So, if you're a scuba diver, this is probably something you want to put add to your bucket list.
Unbelievable. I have to do that. I mean, being able to scuba dive to a winery, that is now going on to my top 20 bucket list for sure.
I know. I wonder the depth, because I wonder if you could just snorkel over it.
I know.
And check it out.
Well, yeah, you never know. Speaking of winery, there's a great international festival of wine and culinary art. It's held at the Hotel Esplanada, and it's supposedly the top food and wine event in Croatia. So if you're a foodie and a wine aficionado, you definitely want to consider the International Festival of Wine and Culinary Art at the Hotel Esplanada.
I'm going to take you back over to the water a second. Something that is unique to Croatia is the pasaras, and the pasara is a traditional Croatian boat. So you could go to Havar Island, take one of these pasaras out. You could fit 6 passengers on them. You don't need any experience in driving boats in order to maneuver these. And on board, they typically have a refrigerator. You can stock up on food, water, alcohol, and enjoy your day at sea.
Sounds like the perfect day, doesn't it?
Yeah, and just off the Havar Islands, there's also the Peligrini Islands, which you can go explore. So, I just grab a group of friends, depending on who you travel with, and obviously, become a little bit familiar with the area, because you will end up in the Adriatic. But that would be a great experience. And then if you love wine, and I'm taking you back to wine again too, there's the Havar wine tours, and you could do half a day of swimming and then half a day of wine tasting. But I definitely do the wine tasting second.
Yeah. So here's something that Todd and I did a few years ago, was enjoy a drink at the Hidden Cliff Bar. It's in Dubrovnik. Now, Dubrovnik is one of those cities that looks like it's a movie set. We said earlier that it was the base for one of the cities in
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. But it was actually just a lot of it was destroyed in the Bosnian War about 20, 30 years ago. And so they've rebuilt a lot of the red tiles. It just makes it even more dramatic as a city. But they have two bars that are on the edge of the cliffs. The name is Buza and Buza 2. I think I'm saying that right.
That's
but it translates as hole because you can only access them through a hole in the cliff. And I know that Kai was talking about seeing lots of paddle boarders out. And I remember sitting at this bar, which is actually, enclosed inside a cliff, looking out, and there were just tons of paddle boards going on.
It was kind of amazed to get there too, because we could see it.
Yeah.
And then we knew, we're like, we want to go there. That's, because it was just gorgeous.
Yeah, we weren't even planning. We kind of snuck up on it. We didn't even plan on it.
And then you kind of start walking through these little corridors, and you're like, I think this is it. And I think you go out here, and the next thing you know, you go through a hole, and then there's just,
you're in this bar. Yeah, definitely make sure you put that on your list, because it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it's on the water side. So if you're looking out the walled city, you'll see it on the water side down low. It's really, really cool. And then you could also listen to Zadar's sea organ, and it's underneath the 230 foot steps on Zadar's coastline. It's 35 differing pipes, and they all create beautiful tones when the water goes in and out. So we actually did that as well, and it was really neat. When the tide would come in, you would hear them, and it goes out. It just pushes the air through these pipes, and it was really cool. A lot of people there taking pictures, but it's known as the sea organ, and they say it never makes the same noise twice, and it's great for hanging out, sunbathing, having a meal.
Yeah, and that you're on the coast. There's tons of caves. We've already mentioned two or three of them, but there's also two famous ones. There's the Blue Cave, which is a blue grotto, and you can go every day. And between the hours of 11 and 1 on Sunday days, it illuminates the water into this bright blue. It's a little touristy, so you might want to try to go in the off season. But for a similar experience, there's also the Green Cave, which is located on Bisevo Island, and it's often less crowded because it's farther out, and it provides you the options for swimming as well. So pretty incredible. And anywhere in Croatia, you're going to be able to enjoy the beautiful Adriatic, which I would argue is one of the most beautiful bodies of water on the planet.
No, it was absolutely gorgeous. And then, besides actually like going and doing something, the great thing about Croatia and every single destination that we went to, you could just walk, walking, grabbing a beer, sitting and just watching the people and looking at the view. It's absolutely stunning. And
and it's absolutely great for those who own a business or are in charge of a group. It's a great group destination because a lot of people haven't been. It's relatively inexpensive still, and is one of those places that has the high quality of a European country, but not necessarily the prices, and the views are unmatched.
Again, I put it on my bucket list again. I want to go back there. I absolutely love it.
Absolutely.
And then, we said like the countries that surround it, they're all probably, they're not as touristy, but maybe one day we'll get to go into those and check out new things as well. But right now, Croatia is just on the money. There's another great activity, if you don't mind a little bit of drive time, but there's you could take a 1-hour road trip from Zadar to visit Croatia's Zagreb region. And what's really cool about this, it's relatively an unknown territory. It's Croatia's northwest region known as the Zagreb region. It's picturesque backgrounds. It's got rolling hills, all of the great, beautiful scenery, but it also has medieval castles, which is really cool. And it's really known for its Austrian, Hungarian heritage. So there's you need to go visit the Veliki Tabor, which is one of Croatia's oldest castles, or you could go to the Trakovan Castle. It's a 13th century fairy tale fortress, which is supposed to be pretty amazing. Or you could spend the night in the city of Varazdin and enjoy a series of just different events that they have every year. They have a 10-day street festival, which is really cool. The International Frisbee Golf Tournament. And if you've never played Frisbee golf, it's actually a lot of fun. Or you can just attend one of the classic Christmas markets at holiday time. So, just kind of get out of the mainstream and go check out some of the rest of the country. This would be a great road trip.
Well, Todd, just so much to do in Croatia. And when we come back, we're going to be speaking to Croatia's own Michelin star chef, Chef Rudolf Stefan from Peligrini. We'll be right back.
Hello and welcome back. We are very excited to have a very special guest with us. We have the executive chef and owner of Peligrini's in Šibenik, Croatia. We have the executive chef and owner, Rudolf Stefan. Chef, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm really pleased and honored to be the part of your podcast.
So, Chef Rudy, we wanted to talk a little bit about, Croatia. It seems with the people that I talk to, it's become a very popular destination, probably the last decade, especially from, for visitors from the US and many other, places that are pretty far away. What is the attraction right now to Croatia that you see that is drawing people to come?
In a couple of last years, I have one nice example to explain what Croatia is. If we talk in hospitality terms, it's like you have huge hotels, big hotels with 1,000 rooms, and Croatia is like a boutique hotel.
That's a really good analogy. That's absolutely great.
It's really beautiful, but it's limited with really good ingredients. It's not for the mass tourism, it's for targeted for small individual tourism. This is what I think is future for Croatia.
So, and your specialty is it's gastronomic cooking, and can you explain a little bit what that means?
Well, first of all, what we usually say, we need to have the passion for the job what we do. Without passion, it will be difficult to wake up in the morning and to continue the things what you do.
Yes.
I wouldn't say gastronomic. I would say that we try to use ingredients what we have around us and try to give the best to our guests. The most important is to provide really special gastronomic event for your guests, or experience. I would say it's better experience to say.
Well, let's start with where your restaurant from, because you're actually from there, right? Šibenik. Tell us a little bit about your hometown and why people should come visit.
Šibenik is a special small city. It's located in the middle of Adriatic Sea, in the middle of Croatia, and it's surrounded by 2 national parks. And
beautiful.
Why? Yes, it's why Šibenik is special, because it has a beautiful river Krka. So you have, if you look in a gastronomic point, we have river water, we have mussels, we have oysters. This is all influence of the river water, and we have salted water, like you would like to say ocean. So this is the richness for Šibenik in gastronomic view, and for experience, it's incredible. So it's if one day you can stay in Krka in the mainland, and then another day you can go to Kornati National Park, which is incredible, completely different. It's like you are arriving on the moon, something special and crazy, full of sage.
Let's talk a little bit about your food then. Let's talk about like kind of what inspires you. What type of food is your favorite? What are you really focused on today?
When I was like 15 years ago, when I was a little bit younger, I was looking for really special ingredients, and it's like in one book you travel all around the world to find at the end that the best thing is in front of you. So yes. If you look the picture behind you, if you go to the harbor, when you come to the harbor, you will see the mussels. So this is what we didn't use a lot, because we thought the mussels are it's for the poor people. It's not what we want to make. It's not like specialty. I think the best ingredient is when it comes fresh from the sea and it arrives in the restaurant. And I think that's the best what we can provide to our guests. The freshness of this mussel is something special, and this is what you are going to remember for a long time. So all our cuisine is based on this principle. We try to use as more as we can ingredients from our area, so we don't buy ingredients far away, and they don't travel a lot.
Well, and Chef, I want to congratulate you because Pellegrini's has been awarded a Michelin star every year since 2018, correct?
That's right. That's right.
Well, congratulations. That's a fantastic achievement. What was the process like of being awarded a Michelin star? How does a restaurant find out that they've been awarded a star?
Thank you a lot. I think in the case of Croatia, it was a huge help of Croatian government, because in the last 10 years they made research and they find out that gastronomy is very important for the guests, especially for the it's like 35%. It's important to make decision where you will travel. So then Croatian board, touristic board, decided to invest more in important gastronomic guides. So they helped that Michelin guide arrived to Croatia. It's very important to put Croatia on gastronomic map of the world. And for us, it wasn't main aim to receive the Michelin star. For me, it's always important that we have happy client, happy guests. That's the most important thing. But after like 14 years of hard work, somebody recognized that, and thank you them. And I always like to say thank you to my team, because without my team, it wouldn't be possible. They are the most important part of our Michelin star.
14 years, that's a very long time in the restaurant business nowadays, isn't it?
Definitely, yes. In the restaurant business, I agree. It's a long time, and it's lots of ups and downs, especially because Šibenik is a touristic spot. So we have lots of, when it's high season, it's high pressure. And then in the winter time, it's really slow. And you need to keep all your team and activities all year around.
For sure.
So this is the biggest difficulty in our case. And this is why we try to invent new things and to extend the season.
What are some new items on your menu for this season that you've launched?
For this season, now we did zucchini and sea bass. This is new. Zucchini flour. We have a couple of days more zucchini flour. Now we have when you finish, you get the melon sorbet with the olive oil and panna cotta. This is we always try to follow what is in when ingredient is in a peach. We try to today we work on the new dessert. I think it will go out on tomorrow or day after tomorrow. It's based on the figs and ricotta cheese. Wow,
no, that's
very
wonderful. Good. We always seem to conduct interviews with chefs before we've eaten, and it doesn't
makes us hungry.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Chef, tell us a little bit. You're the founder of something called Chef Stage. Can you tell us a little bit about what that is and the purpose for it?
Yes, you are right. We found the Chef Stage as we talked before. 14 years is long time in our business. So we find. We detected some problems which are very difficult, and if we wait that somebody solves our problems, I think it will take even more. So we decided to find what are the problems. The problems is that Croatia is not recognized in the world as a gastronomic country. It's a small country, and not so many people knows about it. We think always that lots of people knows for us, but when you make research, it's not like that. So we want to bring more and more people, opinion makers, to bring them to Croatia, show what Croatia can, and then that they spread the stories around the world. The same thing what we do today. Then we had a very important thing, which is not only in Croatia, but it's I think worldwide. It's that young people, they don't want to do any more service. Service and long hours in the kitchen. So this is what we need to start to talk about it, and we need to start to find new ideas how to fix it. And on the other case, we need to say to our clients that it's not possible to operate all year around 7 days a week. it's not possible. The people, they need the rest. They need it's because it's huge pressure in the restaurant business, and it's always long hours. So
Yeah,
we need
for
to
sure.
find. We need. I don't know. Can we do that? But I think what we can do is to try to find solution. So then what we had in Croatia as well, we didn't have so many trained young chefs. So our school system is not good enough to provide good service when they finish the school. So when they finish the culinary school, they need to start from the scratch in the restaurants. So this is the reason why we made foundation called Budi Foodie, which collects the money from the big companies in Croatia. We had a big support from Coca-Cola, Croatia, and we send the free students to the foreign universities to do the trainings for the, we choose the students from 16 to 26. They don't need to have any skills and knowledge in hospitality before, only that they need to have will that they want to work in hospitality.
That's
so
great.
We did the training for the pastry chef, for the chef, and now we did for the restaurant manager as well. In Italy, we did the training. So this is the things what we think it's very important to do.
Well, what a great program you started to help restaurateurs and people who want to get into it. That just sounds fantastic. So as a chef, and you've got a Michelin star now, what are your personal goals? Are you going to open up more restaurants? Or are you just going to focus on the restaurant you have? What are your long-term goals?
My goal from the start was to live in Šibenik with my family and to stay happy, and we are happy with one restaurant. That's we struggle to survive with this one restaurant, and this is what makes me happy. I think it's very difficult to have more restaurants on this level.
It's very hard. Very hard. Yeah, I think
hard.
that's very smart, especially if you want to maintain the quality and the staff. And like you said, if it's especially with staff today, like you said, restaurant staff and the pressures that they're all under, focusing on one restaurant is a great idea.
No, it's great to hear that you're getting ahead of the problem and identifying it and coming up with solutions before they become almost a pandemic within the restaurant industry. It's a novel idea. It's great that you're doing that. In terms of Croatia and the food that people might expect, what is an authentic Croatian dish that people can expect to see when they go to Croatia?
Okay, I would like to say about Croatia. It's really small but special country. Why? Because it's if you look in wine production terms, there is not so many countries in the world which can produce from extreme hot climate to ice wine. I don't know how many countries. I think Croatia is maybe one, or there is another one. I don't know. But in Croatia, you can buy the ice wine from the continental part of Croatia. So you can buy extreme red wines from Peninsula Pelješac, which is completely different. So in this case, you can divide Croatia on 5 key regions. It's Slavonia, which is it's really nice, special, really good food, spicy sausages, lots of food production, mainly pork, cow, veal, and of course wild games. Then you have the main city and Zagreb, which is again it's a small hills, really special area. I would say the duck production, chicken production is special in that area. Then we have Gorski Kotar and Primorje. It's like big woods, big. When you enter inside, it's something incredible. There is a small, small strawberries, small raspberries inside the woods. Then you will find lots of different types of the mushrooms. So completely, and it's perfect area for potato. Then you come to Istria. Istria is now well known for the truffles, for the pasta. It's huge influence of Italy, and of course Istria is on the sea, and their specialty in some type of the seashells, and there is langoustines, really incredible langoustines. And then we come to Dalmatia, which is the beauty of Dalmatia is 1,000 islands. So every island is like a mini state, I would say.
So, Chef, do you participate? You know, now we're seeing in different countries food and wine festivals, you know, showing up that are very, very popular. Where you know, there's celebrity chefs there, and there's a lot of cooking demonstrations. Do you participate in those? And if so, which ones do you suggest? Which ones do you like more than others?
Well, there was one special wine fair in Zagreb. It's always like in November when the season comes, and when the harvest finish, all the winemakers and all the restaurateurs come on one place, and it's.
And this is Zagreb. Like, you said Zagreb.
It's Zagreb.
Okay.
Yes. It's a really nice special. It's always the last weekend of November. It's Esplanada Wine Festival. It's really something special.
The Esplanada Wine Festival sounds great.
Yes, it's in all really beautiful old hotel, one of the most beautiful hotels in Croatia, Esplanada. And now you can find locally more and more. I need to say, in the last 4 years, every city and every region has some local nice festival.
That's great. It's always fun to find something, you know, like I said, chefs have become somewhat of a celebrity these days, you know, whether you're from a small restaurant or a large, you know, chain of restaurants, but people love watching them. My kids will watch the Food Network and just watch chefs cook things and bake things. And I just love how they get involved with it. And I hope some of it spills into the kitchen at our house. It hasn't yet, but I hope it does.
We wrap up our interviews with a couple of rapid fire questions. The first question I have for you is, if you could live anywhere in the world for a year, where would it be?
It would be definitely summer in Europe. Definitely.
Summer in Europe. Okay.
Yes.
Do you have any particular
part of Europe?
any particular part of Europe?
I think your picture is giving the answer. Somewhere close to the sea.
Somewhere close to the sea.
Yes.
Yeah. When you're packing for a trip,
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I would say definitely Šibenik in Croatia.
Šibenik in Croatia. Good answer. Good answer.
Yes, I definitely. I thought a little bit, and I'm happy with Šibenik. Definitely.
Great. Have you ever completed anything on your bucket list, something that you really, really wanted to do that was life-changing?
A couple of times, definitely. But for me, as a child, there was something special. It was like Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Yeah.
Amazing country.
And
we love
when
it.
When we earned the first money from the restaurant, we spent all money for that trip for 12 days in Argentina.
So my next question for you is, when packing for a trip, what is something that you always pack that might surprise our listeners?
Maybe always what I have, it's a cork opener, wine cork opener.
A wine cork opener. I think that might be a first, Todd.
No,
Yes.
actually, no. We interviewed another chef who said the exact same thing.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, he has. He always takes a cork opener too, because a little church key. Yeah, that's a good answer, and it's always needed.
For example, we traveled to Germany, and it was with my two sommelier. We had a trip to Germany, to wine region, and then we stopped to buy some quick breakfast, some salami, some bread, and we saw a nice bottle of wine, so we bought a bottle of wine, but we didn't have the.
So now you never leave without a.
Yes.
So now you never leave
So I
with
said
it.
we need no.
Okay.
It's always.
I'll have to put that on my short list. And my last question for you, especially since you're born and raised in Croatia, what is your most memorable kind of experience in Croatia that you would like to convey, that if someone's coming to Croatia for the first time, besides, you know, coming to your restaurant and having a great meal, what's another great experience that you remember that you'd like to recommend?
To be honest, it's a really difficult question. Really difficult question, and I can't say it's only one. Well,
I would actually agree with you, because Croatia is such a beautiful country and there's so much to do in it. Every time I go, I want to come back because you just can't see it all in one trip.
Definitely. As I said, islands in Croatia are like special thing. Every island has different rules, different culture, different approach, different language. If you talk about islands, I'm always connected with island Vis, and I would say the Vis is something to see and spend time on it, definitely. But it's Vis and Komiža, two cities on the island, they have different dialect. It's really something interesting. I can't say Hvar is special, but Korčula is amazing. Then for me, I prefer more quiet places than Peninsula Pelješac. It's something with the culture, with the food, with extremely good wines, oysters. Dubrovnik, what to say? Just then, if you go to the north of northern part of Dalmatia, definitely I would say Island Pag, because it's again small island, but there is they have like 4 brands. It's something they have like a special lamb from Island Park. They have the Pag cheese.
That's where I'm going.
Yeah, they have then a special way how the old ladies make some blankets. They call it Pag chipka. Then if you go to Krk, to Rijeka, Istria is as well so peaceful, so best truffles come from one of the best truffles come from Istria. You come to Motovun in September, or and then below you it's River Mirna. It's in the fog, and you are on the top of the hill. You're enjoying in really good glass of Malvasia, and you eat nice pasta with the truffles.
What else do you need? What else do you need?
I know I actually have 2 great pictures, 2 pieces of art that I got in Korčula that are hanging in my living room. They're absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Korčula, yes.
Well, Chef, thank you so much for joining us. If people want to make a reservation, where should they go? What's your website?
They should go to the www.peligrini.hr, and then from our website they can do the reservation for the restaurant.
And we'll also put that on our website for the listeners. So, but Chef, thank you so much for your time. We know you're very busy.
Chef.
So
thank you.
Again, we wish you the best of luck and congratulations, and we wish you a successful 2021.
Welcome back, everybody. Todd, wasn't Chef Rudy great?
No, he was. He was a lot of fun to talk to, and I think I just learned a lot about the culinary experience that you can get in Croatia. Which
it's a really growing
scene.
Yeah, it's a really growing scene there.
He talked about, the olive oils and the pastas and the seafood. Well, between him and Kai, they kind of touched on some of the same things, which I thought was really cool. And so you really do, it kind of sounds like it's a Mediterranean, signature dishes for Croatia, but there are also so many other things. But no, I can't wait to get back there and try some of the unique food that they prepare.
Yeah. So everyone, we gave you a great hotel with the Kempinski Adriatic, and then, stop by Chef Rudy's restaurant, Peligrini. And then some of my favorite bucket list items that we talked about, I've got to go do the underwater winery. That just sounds like something that is a once in a lifetime experience.
No doubt.
I mean, and then all the other wineries on top of that in Croatia, which is a really, really cool scene. I want to also cycle up the northern coast. It's really rural, but supposedly unbelievably beautiful, and you actually stay at the Kempinski if you did that. And then something that we have done down in Dubrovnik is going to that bar cave that you kind of have to wind down to get to. That's kind of a once in a lifetime and really, really unique experience.
That is a must do.
Yeah,
absolutely
a
must do. One of mine, no, I think definitely the Pasara, because there are so many islands that are off of the coast. I'd love to just get a boat and just go start exploring. Well, that does it for this episode of Destination Everywhere, Croatia. Definitely add some things to your bucket list. But we'd also like to thank some special members from our team. We have Chris Jordan, our copywriter, Guy Quattlebaum, our content developer, Andy Fernandez, our creative director, and of course, Lauren Campbell, our amazing podcast producer. So make sure you subscribe, rate, and review the show on your preferred podcast app or by going to www.destination-everywhere.com. So we look forward to speaking with you next time on Destination Everywhere.
You've just tuned in to another episode of Destination Everywhere with travel and hospitality entrepreneurs Todd Bludworth and Andy McNeill. To access the show notes and other helpful resources, visit destination-everywhere.com. Join us again next week for another bucket list-filled show as we feature another travel-worthy destination. Until next time, travel well and be safe out there.